you doing? I'm Blaster. I'm stuck here in sunny Florida. Originally from Connecticut. I live in New Jersey now, but the coronavirus had me stuck here after bike week, so I've been here for a month already, loving it. Better than going back home. They call me Blaster because I blow things up for a living, and my job shut down, so I have nothing to go back to right now. I blow up rock mainly for foundations for buildings and bridge work and trenches for pipelines. Alright, one of my funniest childhood memories, there's too many, but this one just struck me. I had this dog named Cosmo. He's my best friend. He was a neighborhood dog, kind of, because you couldn't put him on a leash. You just let him out. Everyone in the neighborhood loved him. Never knew what house he'd be staying at. And if he didn't come home, someone had him. He used to ride the school bus with us sometimes, and then he'd go back to the bus driver on his way back for his next rounds, picking up the kids for another school. We'd drop him off, and he'd just go home. And then one day, I'm out shopping with my father, and we're in a grocery store, because we used to go to the grocery store all the time, and I'd just leave him outside. He'd stand outside the door, because I used to walk to the store, because it wasn't that far from the house, maybe a mile. And he used to sit outside, wait for me till I came out, because we used to go to the grocery store because they had video games. There was Asteroids and Space Invaders at that time. That was all there was for a quarter, so we used to always go down there, and he'd sit outside. But anyway, I was with my father one day, and we were inside grocery shopping, and I was sitting by the shelf. My father's bent over picking something up. My dog comes down the aisle. Apparently, they put a new thing in. He used to step on the mat, and the door would open, but it wouldn't open for him. And they put one of them body heat things or whatever, so the door automatically opens. So it opened for him. He went in the store. And he found us, and he was all excited, and he stuck his cold nose in my father's butt crack, where he was bent over with his plumber's crack, and my father jumped to the shelf, and I saw Jake there. So we had Jake, and then we're trying to bring him outside, and the store manager came over and said, we have a bill, we owe money. Apparently, before he saw us, he found a cheese wheel. They used to have a big giant wheel of cheese sitting on like a tripod stand in the cheese section near the deli. And so I thought that was pretty funny, because he found his way to the grocery store because he used to walk there through the trails with me all the time for the video games. Then caught us in the store one day, and they said that he's been there often, and they just get him out the door and he goes home. We ended up giving the number to them, and it was several times after that they would always call on him. He left a leash there so they could tie him up outside, because he wouldn't move when he's on a leash. He didn't like leashes or being on a run, because you could put a paper towel across his back. You could take a cigarette, put it in his mouth, and he would hold the cigarette. He's put sunglasses, wigs on him, dress him up, and he would just pose for the pictures because he wouldn't move. I thought that was a funny story. Okay, there's this time I went to Hawaii, listening to my cousin who's stationed there in the Army, and I do a lot of diving and just got him into diving, so we had this diving trip planned, and we went out on his boat and took a dive master. We were meeting the dive master at 7, but me being the party animal I am, I stayed out till 5 in the morning, drinking Jägermeister, Red Bull, and everything, and stayed up till 5. We were meeting the dive master at 7, so we were doing everything to sober up before we get there. We didn't sleep at all. So anyway, we get ready for a dive. We jump off the boat, and it's beautiful down there. We did our dives at like 40 feet, and then came up, and then we were to another location, and ironically, we're going to this place called a shipwreck dive 90 feet down to the Sea Tiger. I'm still really hungover. We get down about 30 feet, 40 feet again, and I see a tiger shark. And my regulator popped out, and I'm an experienced diver. I swallowed some seawater. Then I was trying to clear my regulator, and I vomited, and it came out purple from all the Jägermeister I drank mixed with the Red Bull. And now I'm starting to sober up. The shark got within 10 feet of me, and he ate my puke like Pac-Man. So that scared me. I almost drowned, swallowing seawater, trying to get away from it. He wasn't being aggressive towards me, but I didn't know any better. And I went to this chain that is anchored to the shipwreck that we were following down 90 feet to. So I'm hiding behind a chain, and the shark eventually went away. My dive buddy was still down. I could see my dive buddy below me. Came up, asked if I was okay. I didn't want to ruin the dive by going back up. I went through a lot of air. So then I went down. We did our dive. I made the dive. Now I'm dead sober, and I get up to the boat again. And we were sitting in the boat having our lunch. We had a basket of fruit and stuff. So we're eating fruit, and all of a sudden we heard a big blow and all this noise, and saw the water all ripple, and we got covered in salt water, which smelled really fishy. It was a humpback whale, and it blew its out of its blowhole and got all over our food and all over us, and we smelled like fish. So everybody wanted to go dive, and I didn't have much air left because of my accident there. I said, I'm just going to stay in the boat and drink a beer. Then I ended up jumping out and jumping in anyway with my snorkel, and got really good picture, looking at it, and we got pictures of it. And what was a blowhole was the baby whale, which had to be 30 feet. Then the mother came, and that had to be 50, 60 feet. This was the most beautiful thing I ever seen. And but it was a near drowning, and I almost died from that. And that's because of all the alcohol I drank to stay out to 5 in the morning. I would have been a lot better time if I didn't drink anything and got a good night's rest, and I would have been able to go down and dive with it. But it was still awesome. At the time I put my morals in question. I joined a motorcycle club when I moved to New Jersey from Connecticut, and I've been around motorcycle clubs my entire life, riding motorcycles, mainly Harley Davidsons. So I had an opportunity to get with a club, which I can't mention the name of it. It's a serious club, pretty much hard asses. And I thought I was tough enough. And you got to do what the club says. You're kind of it's not quite a gang, but pretty damn close to it. And do a lot of stuff with the club that isn't too lawful. But I did it because I didn't know nobody and didn't have anybody to ride with like I did in Connecticut. I was in a different place, needed to meet new friends. And somebody disrespected the club one day, and it was my turn. And they gave me a ball peen hammer and told me I had to break his hand or his knees. And I didn't want to do it because I didn't know the guy, and they wouldn't even tell me why. They said he deserves it, and I knew that was part of the club rules. So I figured I'd cross that bridge when I get to it. So I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I said, well, when you don't do it, that means you take their spot, which means I got to take a hand or a knee with a ball peen hammer and get broken. And to this day, I still wish I didn't take that hammer and break the guy's kneecap, who I don't know, never seen before, and never seen again since. Kind of wish I did it to myself, because I would have healed by now, and that would have been just a mere flesh wound that I'll heal. But mentally, after doing that takes longer to heal than your body does. So I since got out of the club. I've done a few other things since then, and stayed with the club for several years after that. A couple years after that, and then I just decided to get out and ride by myself. And fortunately, I had to stay long enough in the club to do enough good for the club, where I was able to get out with any no vendettas. So recently I quit drinking, not due to me actually wanting to. I had a near-death experience. I was drinking like every day, at least 10 shots a day, 12-pack of beer. Then I'd go to the bar and drink till I had to get home so I could go to bed and go to work. Didn't drink at work, but I never made it more than a mile down the road without doing a shot and cracking a beer. And so I was drinking and driving every day, so I was putting my life and other people's lives at risk, along with my freedom if I got arrested. And I did that for years. caught up with me recently. I'm on vacation, and my first week of vacation entailed the first 2 days of drinking heavy, and the next week in the ICU, taken by ambulance to the hospital, throwing up blood. I had stuff burst in my stomach. I have ulcers in my esophagus and my stomach, so I was bleeding internally and I almost died from it. So I spent a week in ICU, was in the hospital, so that was one heck of a vacation. Then I got out, and I said, I'm never drinking again. I've been asked to and intervented by friends and family about my drinking, and everyone, constant comments on it. I lost relationships because of it, because the alcohol is more important. So I'm grateful that I was able to quit, and I'm actually grateful I almost died, because that changed my whole view and outlook on life. I used to be drunk and asleep by 9 o'clock, and I'd get up with a hangover at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd get full, 8 hours passed out, except for having to get up to go to the bathroom because I had to evacuate some of the alcohol. So that I didn't sleep well, tossed and turned, woke up every half hour, so I needed to go to bed earlier to try and get the proper sleep. And I got out of the hospital, I said, I'm not drinking anymore, and now my body's starting to heal, I'm more focused. I have no desire to ever go back to drinking. Because it was so locked and embedded in my brain, I didn't get withdrawals, shakes, nothing. So I'm going to stay not drinking, and I'm grateful for that. I go to bed at midnight, I get up at 4 in the morning, I feel like I got 10 hours solid sleep. I don't wake up through the night, I don't toss and turn, just feel healthier and more energetic during the day. So I'm pretty grateful on that, and it hasn't been long yet, but I'm looking positive for the future, and extremely grateful, and I can't wait to see what I can contribute, to this world. Unfortunately, right now I'm under the coronavirus thing, and now I can't go out, but that wasn't in place when I got out of the hospital, with the bars and restaurants being closed, but the liquor store is still open, and I have no desire to drink.